My name's Colwin Way. I'm a woodturner of 40 years. I'm currently now at my own workshop at Miller's Farm Shop in Kilmington, Axminster, where we're running full-time courses, and we've got a shop selling everything we make. Normal day-to-day life here would be either running a course or manning the shop and making stuff for the shop as well. So if it's a course, and there are a number of them, from beginner courses to introduction courses to fruit making to nutcracker making. So if it was one of those courses, we'd be up here by 8:30, getting the place nice and warm, getting the kettle on, and then welcoming the students in. Now if it's a 2-day course, the first day is all about that warm welcome. My wife will be here greeting them, making sure they're nice and warm and settled and not nervous at all. If it's a day where we don't have a course, then it usually is making for orders or making to supply the shop. And that will consist of anything from making wooden bowls, to coat racks, to mirrors, to vase shapes, to fruit, to birds, all sorts of things. The way I tend to work, my inspirations really come from people I see, other turners, videos, books, or items, you know, the other turn pieces around the world. So they're my inspirations. Nature as well. I've been doing a series of bird forms recently, and they've really inspired me. The way these forms in nature are quite fluid and easily replicated on the lathe. My recent challenge is starting a new business, starting this place that we're in at the moment, making sure it runs well. Now, even though I've been turning and teaching for a lot of years, doing the same thing as your own business has its own challenges as well. Silly things like making sure you're there on time and doing a full week, because it's ever so easy not to when you have no one to say yes or no to. I'm working with my wife, so I'm sure she finds that a challenge in itself. But then that also is very rewarding in the fact that you're being with the person that you want to be with, you're making a success of something that you're both working toward. The creative process for me really comes back from the inspiration. So I, again, see something I like, see a form I like. It may not be a turned item, it could be a piece of pottery, it could be something in nature. And then that leads you then to start thinking. And it'll be the funniest, most innocuous thing that will say, okay, I want to make that. It all comes from all over the place. So the creative process very much starts from a rough idea in my head, or something I've seen, and then straight to the lathe. Usually the first couple of things I make after that spark of inspiration aren't quite right, and so you tweak things, and then it's something that runs and you improve on. One of the big, for instances, that I can think of now would be the trip to Germany that I made back in 2017, where I was so inspired by the nutcrackers, the German smokers, the carousels, that led me on then to create my own versions of the same thing, which are now out there on the internet when you search for those products. So that I've made my sort of little mark on those sorts of things in a fairly short time. More recently, I mentioned about making bird forms. They've really taken off very, very well, and particular ones like hummingbirds have sparked a real interest. So I've sort of, from starting for one little project on a short hour video, it's then sprung into lots of different types of figures and birds. Projects we're working on at the moment are very varied. We've just come out of the Christmas spell, so that has obviously been extremely busy. So again, going back to things like nutcrackers and German smokers, all the gifty things, Christmas tree decorations and snowmen and all those sorts of things, they've now gone. So now we're looking at a period where we need to restock the shop. So we have a few big projects. There's a couple of tables that I'm working on at the moment, working with resin and branch timber. So that's the bigger projects, but really I'm gonna say mundane stuff, and I only mean that in that they're production turn pieces. I still enjoy the production stuff. So when it comes to things like bottle stoppers, light pools, vase shapes, wooden fruit, in amongst the courses, which is probably about 3 to 4 days a week, are those days where we're solely making. So we're making big batches for the shop to stock for Vicky to then sell. I enjoy the production side of it, because even though we're making lots of the same thing, the timber's always different, you know, bright colors, those sorts of things. So that is where I am at the moment. Amongst those, every fortnight we're also doing our YouTube channel. So we're doing an hour-long how-to on YouTube live. So we've developed quite a nice little a group of people that follow that and have regular conversations over that. So that's on every other Thursday or so. On all of the courses, I will talk about the right tool for the right job, and carbide tools are a big thing at the moment. And I do have some carbide tools, but I'm very much of the traditional tool side of things. I'll use carbide tools when needed, but most of my day-to-day turning is with the basic 6. Different sizes of them, but the basic 6. Things like the skew chisel, the roughing gouge, the spindle gouge, the bowl gouge, scrapers, parting tools. One of my visits, like I was saying earlier, to Germany has allowed me to be able to create and start selling my own range of skew chisels, German splay skews, made by Crown. And they're pretty much, between the skew chisel and the bowl gouge, they're in my hand probably 50% of the day between those two tools alone. And to that end, we've created courses where we masterclass in skews, for instance. And I've taught that lesson and those classes all over the world, from America to Australia, to France, Spain, and back to the UK. So one of the most recent and quite exciting projects has been to do shop windows for one of the major London retailers at Christmas. Where there were 20 windows to decorate in total, and the scene was to make puppets, puppet shepherds and puppet goats and sheep. And so my job was to turn all the heads, the feet, the arms, and to decorate the shop windows. Roughly 1,500 pieces in total were turned and all shipped up to London to be dressed in the window. So that was really, really quite exciting for me. We had to follow some very detailed digital drawings, but they look really, really nice at the end of the day. All done out of white oak with coloured pieces made elsewhere and then all joined together. So that was a really exciting project for me. So there's lots of tools I couldn't be without, as well as my traditional turning tools, of course. But there's other things that I'm using pretty much all of the time. Chucks are a big part of my life, and I'm very lucky to have worked for Axminster Tools for 28 years, and along that way seen and been involved in the development of the chucks and centres that they now make. Big parts of my day include using the SK114 and the 100 and the jaws associated with those. I'm really into the O'Donnell jaws, again probably one of my favourite jaws, the O'Donnell jaws, especially the middle-sized 112s. Also things like the wood plate jaws, nylon jaws. The C-jaw family gets used an awful lot on both my SK114 and the 100. The real reason being with the C-jaws, and I know I get excited about this, but there is a real reason for that. The C-jaws really mean that I can use so many other things. I can create sanding discs with faceplate rings to attach to the C-jaws. I can use the screw chucks. I can use the eccentric chucks. There's so many things that you can use those jaws with. I even attach my polishing mops to them. So for me, it's an essential part and almost an extension of the lathe really, and something that I'm using all the time. So yeah, chucks and centres for me are a daily occurrence. So anybody wanting to further their skills in turning, really it's all about the practice. It's about the practice, it's about seeing as many different turners as you can. It's taking inspiration from wherever. Don't start too big, start nice and small, and practice, practice, practice. It's all about that. Certainly the skew, I've already said I teach the skew all over the place, but the skew will not let you just pick it up and use it. You just need to plane, roll beads and keep doing it over and over and over again. So it's all about practice really. Don't be too linear, keep looking at different things, keep looking at different demonstrators, take advice from as many people as possible, and enjoy it. That's the main thing, just keep practicing and enjoy it.